We got this right. We got this right.
Hello, 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 and welcome to We Got This, right? Today's episode, we've kind of hinted at before, but Kaylee and I are going to be sharing about some health struggles that we've had and currently having. So it might be a little bit more of a heavy episode. So we thought we'd start it with some dad jokes. Are you ready, Kaylee?
Yes.
I have two good ones.
Okay.
Okay. What do you call an angry carrot?
An angry carrot. I don't know.
A steamed veggie.
Oh my gosh.
What do lawyers wear to court?
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Lawsuits.
Oh my gosh, that's a good one. I like that one a lot. James's favorite, my husband's favorite dad joke. He loves bad jokes, but
Same.
he said, "Have you heard about the corduroy pillows? They're making headlines everywhere." Like that's his favorite one. So if you ever meet him, you're gonna hear the dad jokes.
I
So
love
that was good.
dad jokes. I love a good pun too.
Yeah. Or like when the wit hits just right.
Mhm.
And yeah, my husband's like, "You're not that funny." And my mom says that all the time too. But like when you're witty, it's good.
Pre-divorce, I feel like I've slowly found myself again. But gosh, I used to be so witty. I just boom, 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 rapid fire. I could have done stand-up. I always said I would do stand-up comedy,
I still think
but
you
I could do crowd work like no other.
Well, and you did acting too. So I feel
Yeah.
like, performing is kind of like in your blood. And
Yeah.
I think too, it's kind of like a muscle you have to flex. So we had a friend who started doing stand-up comedy, but he had also been in bands before as a singer. So he had that stage presence, he had that awareness. And so I think if you
Tried.
really worked on your set, you could go do it.
Well, I've definitely thought about it. So
That'd be fun.
all right, where do we want to start with health
Well,
journeys?
I think we'll just jump right in. And, we both touched on some health issues here and there in previous episodes, but I think just kind of clearing that air and putting it out there, what we've been going through. And so it makes a lot of sense for the listeners and, whatever our friends will be called shortly, we'll figure that out. But, I do think having that background, having that knowledge and knowing kind of the things that we're talking about and what that means will really help going forward.
Yep.
So I think we'll just start kind of what things used to look like. Always start from the beginning, right? And what things look like before all of our health issues. So I guess in your past, in your experience, were you healthy as a kid, or did you have health issues growing up? Or
No, I mean, I was pretty healthy as a kid. I had tubes in my ears when I was a kid, and I've
Mhm.
always been prone. We've actually talked about this, prone to ear infections.
Mhm.
Every time I get a cold or a sinus infection,
It lingers.
I get really bad ear infections. But other than that, I feel like I was a pretty healthy kid.
I feel like I was really sickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents always said I was a hypochondriac. So I would tell them all these things, like, I have this going on or this is happening. And sometimes, I got my tonsils out because I always had strep throat. I, had pregnancy loss and all these things. And looking back now, I can say, oh, that made sense. But I remember one of the first things I noticed as a kid was, all those infections, same thing, sinuses, throat, the strep, but was neuropathy. So I always had tingling in my body. And now my youngest is starting to say, I have bugs crawling on my skin. That's what it felt like. And
Yeah.
I remember finally when I was able to take myself to the doctor, they're like, it's all in your head.
Oh.
So I've always been told, and I think as a kid, you don't think anything could be serious or anything could be wrong, but you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're a kid, you're good. So I don't think I ever really considered myself healthy. I just didn't know any different.
Right.
Yeah. So kind of my next question is were there warning signs? But for you and the things that you've had, there weren't, right? I mean, it just
started.
Yeah, it just started when it started and, you had to handle it. So for me, it's a little bit different because I think mine's progressive and
Yeah.
I still don't know what I have, but I think as a kid, right, I always felt like I'm always going to be sick. I'm always going to have something wrong because there was always something going on.
Right.
So I don't think I had any vision of how things would be other than how it actually happened. So
did you ever have a period of feeling better before things got worse? In what year was it? 2021?
Well, I mean, when I was 18, I remember driving down this highway
Mm-hmm.
and it was kind of going down a hill and I couldn't feel my legs. And I went to the urgent care right away. It was really scary. And they found herniated disc.
Oh my gosh.
And I always complained about back pain, but nothing happened. And so it really, when I started to be able to advocate for myself
Mm-hmm.
at age of 18 is when things really started changing. So I don't think there was ever a period of time where I felt like super healthy, but like healthier than
Did you
I
have to have
do now.
back surgery for that?
No, but sometimes it flares up and I have to get steroids. But
Please.
yeah, I get like down the legs and it's just back pain all the time. So, but I guess for you, for things that you went through, like what was your big
Big
moment, like big health issue or surgery or whatever it may be?
Well, so I got divorced in 2016, and I had 3 kids with him. And then in 2018, when I started to date, I went and got the Nexplanon, the arm implant, and I only had it for 7 months. And I was like, this is not. So one thing about me too, me and my friends will joke about it. I'm either really, really sensitive to something or it has no effect on me and I need like triple the dose for it to work. It's one or the other. Normal dose of stuff, I either need tons or I need way less. And so something wasn't right with the Nexplanon and I got it taken out. And it's actually kind of a cool story because we loved our doctor back home and won't say his name because I hope he couldn't get in trouble for this. But me and my son had appointments together and my son was getting checked up for something and I was getting the Nexplanon out. And my son used to want to be a doctor. Now he wants to be a lawyer, but he had sterilized it and cut it. And then he asked Rylan, do you want to take it out? And so he gave him the tweezers and he pulled the implant.
Oh,
It looks like a little
cool.
chip out of my arm. I used to have a video of it somewhere because it was really cool. And he went
I
to
mean, he
school. It's
probably
like,
would get in trouble, but
I did surgery on my mom. Like
that
it
is
was so cool. So I got it removed and then I just got really sick. I was exhausted in my bones, which I'm sure you can relate to. And I just felt terrible all the time.
Like, when did it start after getting that removed? Was it immediate?
It was like pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they told me there'd be an adjustment period, but then I started bleeding and then I never stopped bleeding.
Oh.
And so it was a year. It took a year from then to diagnosis. And so I saw my doctor that I loved and blood work came back normal, that, all these things came back normal. And then, get on iron and all these things. And then I think he sent me to a specialist and we did like a vaginal and abdominal ultrasound because we just couldn't figure out what was going on and discovered that I had a fibroid, which I never knew I had.
Mm-hmm.
And my uterus was enlarged, which post-surgery, I found out it was 3 times the normal size.
Oh.
And I used to have it written down and I tried to find it for this episode, but I can't remember the medical term. But she told me, you know how people get those varicose veins on the back of their knee? I had big, juicy veins going up my uterus.
Is it adenoma?
I'll have to look it up. Yeah. And so then my doctor called me. I remember I was making dinner. He called me really late at night and he's like, hey, Jules, can you chat for a little bit? And I stepped outside and he was like, we got everything back. And he's like, with 1, maybe 2 of these things, I would say you'd be okay. We could figure it out. He's like, but it's just a cluster of things that you're going to need to have a hysterectomy. And so and the crazy thing is I was divorced. I have 3 kids, but because of my age, I don't even know, 36 or something. Even though it was like medically necessary, I had to wait 30 days. I had to go
to
through
make
this, but
sure.
yeah, didn't want to have, and if I had been married, I think I had to have my husband's signature.
Isn't that so bizarre?
Which when I was married, he got a vasectomy. I didn't have to sign any freaking paper for him to get a vasectomy. So I ended up getting a hysterectomy. And when the doctor was in there performing the surgery, she discovered that I had endometriosis, which I never knew. And people always said, but I
Did you
think
have pain
I
and
have a
everything?
really high pain tolerance. It
Okay.
was funny because my daughter was just telling my son, I take after mommy and I have a really high pain tolerance, which she does. They had endometriosis and she said it was so bad surgery was an extra hour because she had to carefully scrape my ovary and the endometriosis off of my bowel and she was afraid of perforation.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, I had a hysterectomy after bleeding for a year. And yeah, it's just,
And have you felt better since? Have you had any issues or
no, I mean, it's great not having a period.
I know. I was like, well, and
Um,
that's what's interesting too is very similar. I had the IUD and I bled for 9 months on it. And finally I got it removed and then I still kept bleeding, but I had 9 pregnancy losses.
right.
I had 7 leading up to my first daughter, and then I had my first daughter, and then a couple more in between. I had my second daughter, and I had an amazing doctor. She was there for my first loss. It was 16 weeks, and I had to deliver like it was a normal baby. And I met her then, and it was like just like the fates were aligned because she was so like a mom to me. She was just amazing. And so I saw her for most of my growing up for all these things because she's like, what is going on? Why are you experiencing all these things? But bleeding all the time, pain all the time, endometriosis, adenomyosis. They did all the things they could do for me and nothing worked. And so eventually I was like, I'm just kind of tired of this.
Yeah.
And so same thing. But it's so funny that like, are you sure? Are
Yeah.
you sure? But did you ever have a moment, even though I know I needed to do it and I wanted to do it, I was just done.
Yeah.
But did you get sad? Like that
Yeah.
it was just done? You knew you couldn't have any more kids?
Well, yeah, because I always wanted a big family. I wanted 5 or 6 kids, and it's probably the religion I was raised in. You're all just like lingering
The whole
in. But
family.
I wanted a lot of kids, and I had always thought I'd maybe get remarried and have a kid with that guy. And I did think, and there was a guy I talked to for a while, and he had no kids, and it was really important for him to have his own. And I was like, I can respect that. And, we're obviously not meant to be. So, yeah, I was really sad, but they did tell me your uterus would not hold a
Like you wouldn't have been able
pregnancy.
to.
You would either be on bed rest the whole time, or it could harm you and or the baby, and it would be stressful and hard. And I already have 3 kids that needed me.
Mhm.
So,
And you were
but
in a
I
very
did.
different place,
Yeah.
with where you were at. And you're like, well, I know, but there's something so final about it,
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, oh, like I wish, but, it's just done.
And my
So,
daughter asks all the time for a sister. She wants a sister
oh,
so bad. I mean, now she has your daughter, I think, and
yeah.
like,
So
but
she's good. Like
she wants a sister so bad. And one of my best friends and her sister are so close, and it is sad that she'll never have a
Mhm.
sister, even though my boys try and kill each other every single day. Send in your parenting tips on siblings fighting, but they have
Yeah.
brothers, and she'll never have a sister.
Well, and that's what Colby always says too, is I wish I could be a big sister,
Yeah.
but I was like, it is what it is. And our
Yeah.
family's complete from that perspective. And
I just for the listeners, we're sharing our health journeys and our struggles and stuff, but one thing that I tell people all the time, and actually it'll go into my other health story, but trust your body. Learn and get to know your body and how you feel, like what's your normal, what's your regular, so that when things do come up, something's wrong. And I actually just learned, well, one, if you're a female, do your breast checks in
Mhm.
the shower, check regularly, because then your breasts. And if something is out of ordinary, you'll be like, oh, wait,
And catch it earlier.
you'll catch it early. But I just learned from a doctor with my son. He was telling my son that he needs to do testicle checks every
Mhm.
time he showers. He's like, do it every day. Or if you shower, 3 or 4 or 5 teenage boys, hopefully 7 times a week, but do it every time you're in the shower, because then you know what your testes feel like. And he actually told me, and I was telling my friend Brooke, shout out Brooke every time, but I was telling her, because she has a son, I was like, have you ever heard this? Because he told me that it's actually young men that get testicular cancer, not old men.
I know. And it's on the rise.
It's on the rise. And so he said that he's starting to tell all of his teenage boys that come in to do testy
Mhm.
checks, because we always hear for women to do breast
Mhm.
checks. I'd never heard that, even as a mom of a 15 and like 13-year-old, but
Yeah.
teenage boys and mothers, I know if teenage boys are listening, they're probably giggling right now, but encourage your sons to do that too. And so they know what their normal is.
Mhm.
And then if anything, God forbid, is ever wrong, it can get caught early
Well,
and they
and
can come and talk to you.
And telling them to do that, it
Yeah.
opens the conversation. Because
Exactly.
would they feel comfortable going to their mom and being like, hey, there's this weird thing? Like, they might not
Right.
want to. So if you're
But
like,
if they,
hey, this is a part of normal things
yeah,
for
you're
you and your
encouraging
body.
them. Mhm.
Yeah, I do think it's really important. The only reason I knew about it is because I did work in the medical field, and boys were like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe you're telling me to do this, but how to clean themselves, how to check themselves, all that's so important. And for our girls too, right? We have to make sure that, like you said, you know your baseline and what to watch out for, because it is younger and younger.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, which is really scary. And I mean, things happen to kids too,
Well, and
right?
they're saying that with colon cancer too. A regular screening didn't start, well, depending on your family history, till you're like 45 or 50.
Mhm.
And now they're lowering that to like 40 and 45 because colon cancer is on the rise. So just like knowing your body,
Mhm.
knowing
And
if
listening.
something's different. Yeah.
Well, I guess, do you want to talk about your
My second one. And then, because I know yours
Yeah.
is more in
Well,
depth
and I just feel like there's so much for me to share, but I think this leads perfectly into
into.
what happened with you recently.
Yeah. So I had a pain in my back. Well, it was in my abdomen, but I really felt it in my back. And I was texting you and I'm like, yeah, I
Something's
feel
not
this. I
right.
feel that. Yeah, something's not right. And I had it for a few days and I Dr. Googled, which I do not endorse, but I was looking up if it's my liver, if it's my kidney, if it's my appendix, where would the pain be? And it didn't fit into any of those things, really. But I laid down on my bed and pushed on my abdomen the way a doctor would. And at one particular spot on my lower right, I'm like, oh, that's wrong. That doesn't
That
feel
hurts.
right. Yeah. And so I went to the ER and was joking with the nurse and stuff. And they sent me in for my abdominal CT with contrast. And then I'm waiting in the room. And she comes back in and she's like, it's your appendix. But my appendix wasn't inflamed. It wasn't potentially going to burst. But the little dingly, if go Google what an appendix looks like,
The little dangle dangle.
the little dingly part at the back had gotten stuck up behind my bowel. So my appendix, that should be this little dangling thing, was a U and it was pinned up behind, which is why the pain was in my back. And so, but then they had no surgeon at our small town hospital that day, so I had to take an ambulance ride to a different hospital to have surgery. And they're like, we need to do it now because, you know, it is an appendix and they don't mess around. And so a doctor was waiting for me at this other hospital. My kids were in school, and so because of their history with their dad passing and they just worry about losing me all the time. Well, my oldest was actually homesick that day, so I did call and talk to him, but I was able to reach out to our amazing school counselor who I love so much and say like, hey, can you call my kids in, let them know that I'm going to have this surgery, maybe Google what it is, let them know I'm going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. And so they did do that and they were able to comfort them, and
It was
scary for
hard.
them, but they had a safe place. And I didn't want it to come from my teenage son because
Mom's in the hospital.
yeah, mom's having this surgery and chances of dying are like 90%. Like,
Like the worst
Yeah.
scenario.
So I just wanted them to know before they got home, and mom was at home. And so I had the surgery, did spend one night in the hospital just for rest. And, but then went in for my follow-up and was like, super just thinking, oh, he's going to look at my incisions and blah, blah, blah. Like,
Routine.
Just routine. Like, I thought I was going to be in and out in 10 minutes, and he gave me pathology report that said that they found a 1.5 centimeter tumor inside my appendix in and then I just broke down, and I have a great doctor. He was so patient with me.
Just
and
hysterical.
I was just so upset, and like all the things were running through my head. Am I going to die? Like my kids, all these things. And I was like, what's worst case scenario? And he said, worst case scenario is we'll have to remove part of your colon. And I said, does that mean I'll have a bag for the rest of my life? And he said, no, thankfully. But he's like, our plan going forward is we're going to do a colonoscopy exactly 6 weeks post-surgery. Depending on what that shows. Well, he said, we'll do the colonoscopy, do another colonoscopy in 6 months. And I want to do a abdominal CT in 6 months and potentially one in a year. So 6 months post-surgery, I did my colonoscopy. I got, again, my sensitivity to things. I got really, really, really sick from the prep, like on the floor.
Really sick.
Yeah. Bathroom floor, shaking, sweats, like violently ill from the prep. But thankfully I was cleaned out enough to have my colonoscopy. And he said it was so spick and span that I don't need to do another colonoscopy in 6 months, but we will do the CT, abdominal CT, in 6 months post-surgery. But like my symptoms didn't fit anything.
Mhm.
I was texting with you. I'm like, is it a waste of time to go in? I didn't know, but I did lay on my bed and pressed on my tummy and I was like, no, something is
Well,
not
and you
right.
tried a lot of things, like a bath and heat,
Yeah.
right? You tried all these
Oh yeah,
things.
heating pad.
Yeah, you're like, it's just not going away.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, well, you know your body,
Mhm.
and I would rather be safe than sorry. And good thing you did go in
Yeah.
because it wasn't going away. And it's scary because you look it up, right? We want to like know if it's this side, it's this. And if it like yours didn't fit any of
It
that.
didn't.
And even the results were like something I didn't even know was possible. Like what? Why is it going up and going behind
Yeah.
there? How does that happen?
Dang,
You know?
I joked with the doctor. I was like, dang yoga, because I used to
Yeah,
do yoga
downward
so
dog.
yeah, like twisted myself into a pretzel and got my I don't
Appendix.
know if that's actually what it was, but that was my stupid joke. But he did say, he's like, you must know your body really well, and it could have gotten worse. And had the tumor been able to grow up to 2 centimeters, it would have been a more serious prognosis. So I do think God was looking out for me as a
Mhm.
blessing in disguise to go and get it out now and just get it taken care of. So
Now you're being watched and
And
like
now I'm
being
being watched.
monitored, you know? And there's something about that. I know it's like more appointments and all these things, but then you will be checking in on your body. And
Yeah.
it's kind of that reassurance of good thing you caught it and good thing you have follow up
Yeah.
because it could have been worse.
And I think I've always been scared of dying when my kids were young, but then now that their dad has actually passed while they're young,
It's more of a
I
reality.
pray all the time, like, let me meet one grandchild.
Yeah.
But let me get all of them to adulthood. Like they
That's the
already don't
scariest thing.
have, yeah. And so
And it
just
was
means
scary. Like I remember I took them pizza like the day
Yeah.
it happened and everyone just kind of came together and were like, we're gonna take care of these kids and but they just seemed kind of like
scared.
yeah. And it's reasonable,
Mhm.
And then once you were home, it's like, oh, back to normal, mom's home. But I do think they have so much of that trauma that it's a good thing you're looking out for you because
Yeah.
you have to.
Well, I might get emotional sharing this. And when we do talk about the passing of their father and grief and stuff, but my oldest son would always, middle of the night, come and wake me and dad up and be like, what happens if one of you dies? And he always had this fear of one of us dying. And we'd be like,
It's like
it's
he
not going to
knew.
happen. It's not going to happen. And, we're like, mommies and daddies don't go away. And you don't think
Possibility.
it's a possibility. And when the kids came into the room when Robert was dying, Rylan sat at the chair on the left side of his bed and grabbed his hand, and he looked at me and he said, I told you so.
Oh.
And I'll never forget that face that like
Like he
no,
just knew.
he must
And it's
have
like, how did he know? But he is, I don't want to say like in tune.
I don't know.
Like he's
because
just aware. I
Yeah.
feel like if anyone would have this foreshadowing ability, it'd be him.
Robert and I had sat and talked about Will's 3 weeks before he passed, and it still haunts me because he said, I guess I just don't think about dying. And I said, oh my gosh, I think about it all the time. But like 3 weeks
And it was
to the date of his accident, he said, I guess I just don't think about dying. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, it's my worry
Knock
all
on
the time.
wood,
And then, and then he passed. So
Yeah. And I think to that point, until that stuff happened with you and I knew your story, I just started looking into wills and
get your wills done.
get it done
Oh my
because
gosh.
the last thing you want is lengthy court battles, people that are not looking out for your kids.
Still in court battles, guys. It's been 3 years.
Yeah, it's still ongoing. And no one should have to deal with that. Like
Yeah.
you are taking care of these children. And so for me, I'm like, wow, it's an eye opener. If you don't have one, get one because the last thing you want is the courts to decide what happens with your kids.
And because him and I had sat down and discussed it, like I knew all of his last wishes and
they didn't care.
they're not happening. So
Because you weren't married.
we were divorced.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
but we'll share that for another day. More to come.
But get your will since we're talking about health.
Yeah.
And what your wishes are. Because if something were to happen and do you want to be resuscitated? Do you want to be on life support? Those are important too. Advanced directives, living wills. wills.
Get them
So,
done.
get them done.
Because we'll go into your health journey, which is a lot more, than mine.
Complex.
Yeah. But the only other thing I worry about all the time is my eyes are terrible, like terrible.
Do you have anything wrong with your eyes, or just
Yeah,
they're
I'm
just
just
bad?
like
Just
blind.
blind. Okay.
Yeah. And my right eye is always getting worse and worse and worse. And so I do fear that I'll potentially be blind in my right eye one day. And I do think about that a lot.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
no,
Well,
I'm going to have to
maybe I
learn
could be
Braille.
your right eye for you or something.
Yeah.
Just always have someone on the right side.
So
That's terrifying. I know eyes are scary, like
I
really
know.
scary. And for me, my mom had a heart attack at 44, quadruple bypass. She was close to not making it. And that's scary.
It is scary.
And you just think your ticker is always going to tick. And I didn't know that was the thing. So listen to your body. That was the moral of the story, and get your wills. So I guess moving back into my story, I'll kind of start at the end and kind of, move backwards. But right now, what I'm going through, and they still don't know what I have. They believe right now, based on recent tests I've had, that I have an autoimmune condition. Don't know what it is because I haven't tested for everything. They do think it could be something like Sjogren's, but it's seronegative, which means I don't have any of the antibodies that would prove without a shadow of a doubt that that's what I have. But it's an autoimmune condition, they believe, that has had autonomic impact. So your autonomic system is everything that happens by itself automatically. So
Oh, great.
your nerves, your organs, so like your breathing, your heart, your digestive system, all the nerves that control this, it's the small fiber nerves that control all of those things. So mine are pretty much shot, and that has resulted in neuropathy, so pain, numbness, tingling in my entire body. I have a peripheral oxygen extraction defect, which I learned through a cardiac catheter procedure, where my muscles just don't take oxygen from my bloodstream. So my muscles think it's kind of when you go and you jog real quick and you get that sensation of like, oh my gosh, my muscles. That's what they feel like all the time, because it's making my muscles think I'm in this, like I'm running
Exerting.
or I'm exertion where it's just not happening. And I have shortness of breath. I have brain fog. I have fatigue all the time. So now I have chronic fatigue syndrome, which is a real thing. And things just feel off all the time. I'm nauseous. And really what it's come down to, not knowing what you have, it's a progressive thing, because my small fiber neuropathy, which is usually first, is turned into large fiber, which is all the other things in your body. So once it progresses to large, they know it's a progressive disease. And I'm on infusions right now to help kind of restart or reset my immune system. It's SCIG, so it's subcutaneous immunoglobulin. And I haven't really noticed much of a difference, but maybe it's stopping the progression of it, and I won't know ever. So I'm
Would
on
there
it.
ever, so you'll be potentially on the infusions for the rest of your life? Or is there a point where you could get
I mean,
better enough, quote unquote, till
I think she said it's either if it's helping kind of or not getting worse, I could potentially be on it forever. But at the same time, if it's not helping at all, like why not get off of it and try something else? Because a lot of my treatment has been trial and error.
And the hemoglobin that's in your infusions every week?
Yeah. So
Which is hemoglobin is in the same range category as blood transfusions.
So kind of, so it's immunoglobulin. So it's plasma. So they take it from the plasma that people donate. And I've read somewhere that it takes like 150 or so plasma donations for one dose.
Oh, dang.
And I have to do 70 milliliters, which is 50 milligrams of the immunoglobulin. And it's crazy because it's really expensive, but I do have to infuse it into kind of like my fatty tissue in 5 different sites every week. And it takes 2 hours, but I'm on a lot of different medications. I think I'm on 8 medications. So one for my muscles, they give to soldiers for nerve gas damage, to hopefully help my muscles absorb oxygen. And then I'm on pregabalin or Lyrica for my nerve pain, which makes me tired. I'm on medication, venlafaxine. So it's anxiety, depression, because I get really anxious with all of this and sometimes kind of shaky and weak. And that kind of helps with the pain, but also the anxiety and depression. Low dose naltrexone as well for the pain because I have back pain and neck pain, and like all these different things because I have arthritis in my neck too. Yay, me. But all of it is just treating symptoms. And my heart, which is funny because I saw all these specialists and they're like, nothing's wrong with you. It's all in your head. It wasn't until I found a doctor, a pulmonologist, and I told him everything. It was just by chance that he was part of the long COVID research study across the country. And he's like, I think this could be, viral related and related to long COVID. So let's get you in this study. And what's really funny is for half the time, I was on one med and the other, I was on another. You don't know if it's the actual Paxlovid or not, but 2 weeks out of that study, I felt better when I was on the Paxlovid. And I know it was the Paxlovid because it's like, tastes like metal. It's really gross. But I was like, that's really funny. So he is actually the one that did the heart cath, and he's the one that found it. And my cardiologist wouldn't believe me.
Wow.
And I just finally got tested for POTS, and they were like, yep, you have all these things and your nerves don't sweat and they don't have sensation. And so that's why the heat makes it worse too, because when you have this neuropathy, the small fiber condition, your body can't regulate temperature. You don't sweat. Yeah, like in like my feet, my hand, like nothing. And so it's just really weird because sometimes I will sweat a lot and get really red and hot, but like it's my body just freaking out. It doesn't know what to do. So I feel like I've always kind of had these things, but it started to get worse
During
at or around the time of COVID.
Yeah.
Because viral illnesses will trigger things in your body that, you could have had, but it just got worse.
And you have your blog, you should plug that because I like what it's named too.
Yeah. So I do have a Substack where I've taken a little break since we started our podcast, but I actually have been thinking about picking back up because so much is happening in my health journey. But yes, it is Sick in Plain Sight. So I can link that as well. So everyone can kind of see and read about it because I do go into a lot more detail about my health and how I feel and the treatments that I have. But it's constant. It's
right. And I do like the name of it because I do think like you have a handicap placard because you do get, if you walk far or you get winded and tired, and to people, you look fine. You look healthy, but you never know what someone's going through, which we say to each other about people in general, but you never know what someone's journey is. You don't know what they've been through. And you are sick in plain sight. No one would be like, oh, wow, that woman has a lot going on with her health because you look healthy.
And I've talked about that in therapy a lot because I feel like a fraud. I feel like I can show up to cheer practice and coach, but then I'm drained.
Wiped.
I need a day for recovery. I can go to a late night skate birthday party, but then I'm wiped. So I do these things and I push myself, but it comes back to listening to your body because I don't do enough of that. But my therapist has said, use your handicap pass. You are sick. And she's like, just because you're not as sick as someone else or sick in the same way as somebody else doesn't mean you're not sick.
Right. And we just talked about this past week too, because I couldn't be at a particular cheer practice and there was another coach that was going to be out and you were not feeling good and you're like, well, I feel like I need to be there. And I was like, Kaylee, there's I think 4 or 5 other coaches. There are people that can do this and you need to listen to your body. And if you don't feel good, they got it. And I
actually stayed home.
She did stay home, and I'm proud of you because I do think like we're telling everyone, listen to your body and show up when you can show up, which you do. But I think it's also okay to be like, I can't, or we talk about this with Colby. She sometimes worries because she has a lot of health problems too. Oh, my friends are going to be mad at me. Well, if they're mad at you, honey, then they're not your friends. They're not people that care about you if they can't understand that you don't feel good. So like, when you're truly not feeling good or you need to say it like, no, Julia, I can't go to the pool today, or no, I can't go to cheer practice or whatever it is. If the people that care about you, they're going to know, you wouldn't take the out unless your body needed the out.
Yeah. And I do try to do so much. And, I think with that, I'm going to be more tired, but also I do have something that makes me tired. And, even using my brain, thinking and working, I get to a point where I have to nap. I have to
you
nap
do
every
nap
day,
every day.
or my brain just will not work. And you're not getting anything from me if I don't nap. So,
We're going to open our coffee shop and our podcast is
Yeah.
going to be successful. And then you won't have,
then I can
you
nap.
can use your brain, but it won't be
Yeah.
in the same capacity as you are now.
I know. And I think to your point too about, kind of plugging the sick in plain sight and the name and like hidden conditions, more and more people are finding that they have these conditions. They don't know what they are. They aren't really visible. And it's kind of funny because I have this tracker called Visible.
Right.
It's making invisible illnesses visible because so many of the health trackers and things that look at, O2 and pulse and things like that. But my pulse races. It's high all the time. My oxygen is normal, but it's not normal in my body because of the exchange. And I have low cardiac filling pressure. So my heart doesn't even fill up all the way. So I'm working at this very diminished capacity, but trying to do things like any other person would.
Is it similar to like they say when you're underwater and you're
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm always winded, short of breath, going up my stairs. Sometimes I'm
Yeah,
like,
we got
I'm
to
just
find
going
you one story.
Yeah, I'm just going to lay here in my office and not go upstairs because I'm just going to rest right here.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I can't.
But
Or
this
like,
bed is super comfy.
I was like, if you want it, we
I
can have.
do
But
kind of.
yeah, we're in my office. Maybe one day we'll be on video. But I have a bed in my office for guests. But Julia really loves it, so she might get it one day.
But yeah, I always sit in the office chair and you're always
Yeah.
on the bed.
Yeah.
But it is a comfy bed. I've
Yes.
laid on it with the doggy.
Well, next time, I mean, if you want to lay
It's
here.
okay.
But I think, to that point, I do want to say I have always advocated for myself. And if a doctor, the hospital here, I saw a cardiologist and she laughed at me because I said, I feel I can't keep up with my life. And the hardest part is I can't be there for my kids. And that was devastating. I was bawling in her office. And it was shortly after we moved here and the heat, I think, exacerbated all my things. And she laughed and she's like, honey, you're never going to keep up with your kids.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, no, but what I'm telling you is it's very different than what I could. So I knew my baseline and I knew something was wrong. And so I was like, I'm done with this lady. I left and I went somewhere else. And then that cardiologist was like, it's all in your head. And then he's like, well, I guess if you have shortness of breath, I'll refer you to pulmonology. I'm just lucky I got who I did,
Good doctor
who actually did the test.
Yeah.
So advocate for yourself. It's so important. Know your body, know your baseline, and keep pushing for answers. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Dubby Energy. That's DUBBY Energy. If you listen to us for any amount of time, you know life is basically one giant side quest. Between work, kids, coaching, family, and now a podcast, there's always something going on. Dubby has become one of my go-to energy drinks because it gives me the boost I need without all the crash. It's 0 sugar, tastes great, and honestly has been a nice change from some of the other options out there. If you want to try it for yourself, head to dubby.gg and use code WeGotThisRight for 10% off your order. That's We Got This Right, all one word at checkout.
Agreed. Well, and I actually forgot one health thing.
There's another one.
I know. In 2014, my daughter was only a few months old and I had just had a baby. My body's recovering from that. I mean, it was a beautiful, easy, all natural delivery, but your body's recovering from a baby. I'm nursing. She was full-time nursing forever. And so she didn't take a bottle. She never had formula ever. And I remember this like it was yesterday. So we were at our Lake Cushman property and we had a whole bunch of friends there. And I was making breakfast for everyone and I was like, oh my gosh, my eyes burn. My first thought was like, I got an amoeba from the lake or something.
Brain eating.
My eyes burned. They felt like they were on fire. And we got home that night and I told my husband, I was like, I'm going to go lay in the bath with the lights off and take my contacts out and put a cold compress on my eyes. And I was laying in the bath and I started to get chills. And I'm like, maybe I have the flu, but usually with the flu, my eyes don't burn. Well, I got sicker and sicker and sicker. And well, to back up, a friend of mine from church had just adopted a baby from Ethiopia. And before she could come to the United States, she had to get a certain amount of vaccines. Well, she was already Hep A positive.
Oh,
And
no.
Hep A is dormant for, I don't remember now, but I think it's 8 weeks or longer. It's 8 or 10 weeks. It's dormant for a long time. So when this baby was adopted and came to the United States, she was already Hep A positive. And so she exposed another mutual friend's family, and that whole family got Hep A. And the mother of that family was a leader of a church group that I was in, and she had made us all dinner.
Oh, no.
And
And it's in food, right? Like,
well, you pass it through not washing your hands
Yeah.
properly.
yeah.
She made us all dinner. The other two people who ate the dinner, well, was her, and she was already Hep A positive, which is you pass it along before you have symptoms.
Yeah, so you don't even know.
So she had made us all dinner, but the other one that ate it was a police officer, and so she was fully vaccinated. They stay on top of their vaccines because they get bit by people and spit. She was vaccinated, so she didn't get sick. And then it was the woman who made the meal, and then another woman who was the mother of the baby from
Yeah.
Ethiopia. So she was vaccinated before she went to pick up her daughter, and then me. So I got sick. And so Hep for people, I am no longer contagious. I can't give it to you. Hep means attacks the liver.
Mhm.
So Hep A, B, and C. Each grade is more chronic. So Hep C is commonly associated with sharing of needles and stuff. But Hep just means attacks the liver. So my liver enzymes, so your liver enzymes should be, I should Google this. It's going to be in my corrections area, but your liver enzymes are like 20, right? It's super small when you get a blood test and your liver enzymes. If something is wrong with your liver, if you have fatty liver or cirrhosis or anything wrong with your liver enzymes spike. My liver enzymes were 20,000.
Oh, wow.
So I had known, once I kept getting more and more sick, I was like, oh, I had found out then that I had been exposed to Hep A. And so I went to my doctor, the one I was just talking about that I love so much. After hours, clinic was closed. They didn't
'cause
want
it's
me
serious.
to be, they didn't want me to be around other patients. And I was wheelchaired out. I couldn't even walk. And I was so sick, you guys. I was breastfeeding my baby. So between my husband and a really good dear friend, Evelyn, I met her when I was 10. We've been friends ever since. She took time off of work. My husband took time off of work. They would roll me on one side. I would nurse Bailey on that side. They'd roll me to the other side, help me get her on the breast on that side. I would nurse her on that side, and they would take my baby away, and I'd go back to sleep because she wouldn't take a bottle. But my body was using every resource it could to create milk that the whole left side of my mouth, my teeth started cracking out of my mouth. It was pulling calcium for the
gosh.
baby that I have had like 3 crowns and a root canal on this side. And I, thank God, had the relationship I did with my doctor because I didn't want to be put in the hospital because I would have been put in isolation
Mm-hmm.
and they wouldn't allow my baby to come in. And I didn't want to put her through the torture of a bottle or anything. So I decided to stay home. So every other day after hours, I would go to his office and they'd give me 2 bags of IV fluids. And then they'd wheel me out and like,
I'm glad you're not saying his name because I feel like a lot of this is like
well, I
under
mean, it
the
was
law.
on insurance. I mean, my insurance was charged for it, but I mean,
Because like when
I don't know.
you
Should we
have
take this out? I don't want to get him in trouble. But I was
No,
contacted by the
no.
health department. I mean, there was
They knew.
a trail.
They followed the
Mhm.
process. Yeah.
There
No,
was
you're
a trail, but like, yeah, I would go get IV fluids just so I could like stay home. And the health department knew I did not go, but it was usually a Hep A breakout is like 4 or 5 people. There was 10 affected
Ooh.
from this sweet little baby that was adopted. But there was like this long trail of it, and it actually stopped with me. And my ex-husband, he did not give me a lot of compliments, but I remember him saying to, like, when they're like, well, it kind of stopped with you. And he goes, yeah, because my wife knows how to wash her hands.
Well, that's the thing. It does spread with
It
not
does
washing
spread
your
with not
hands.
washing your hands properly through fecal matter. And I had made everyone breakfast that day at
You didn't get
Cushman.
it?
And it didn't go to anyone
But
else.
isn't that kind of nasty if you think about it? Like you had
I
poop
try
in
not
your
to
food.
think of it. Yeah, I had poop in my food. But they told me, they're like, well, because the Hep A vaccine came out after my generation. It was something that became standard later.
And it was
so
kind of like you had to ask for it.
you
or
had
like
to
the
ask for it. It was a
medical
slow
field or-
launch where eventually it became part of the immunizations. But so my husband and I were both not vaccinated because it came out when we were either in high school or college. So it wasn't part of our immunizations. And so they had told him, you will get it. You share a toilet, you share a bed. He never got it. So shout out me for washing my hands. But
Wash
yeah,
your
I
hands.
can't believe I forgot that one because I was so sick. But what reminded me as you talking about the hemoglobin, because Bailey, she ended up having to be delayed vaccinated because they said even though she was probably getting antibodies through my breast milk, she had to do an hemoglobin infusion,
Oh, yeah.
which is considered in the same category as a blood transfusion. And if your baby has to have a blood transfusion, they can't get their first vaccine for till 1 year post that infusion or
Because they don't know what's in the blood, right? Yeah.
And so Bailey was on a delayed vax schedule, and so she didn't get her first vaccine until she was 15 months old. So that's what reminded me of it, because she had to do the hemoglobin. And even though they said more than likely she's safe because she's getting it from my breast milk because I was Hep A positive, yeah, it became this whole...
Wow. Yeah, I can't believe you forgot that too. That's like
I
a
know
big
that was
deal.
probably the worst one because and I was so sick for so long, longer than anybody else. And I was yellow. I was jaundiced for 5 months. And my
What?
husband
5 months?
I should find pictures. My husband would call me
Like
a
after this?
Simpson. Yeah, because my liver made me
Inflamed.
jaundice. And it took me so long to heal. They think because my body was already immune compromised from having a baby, my body wasn't healed. It was more susceptible to getting it worse. Plus I was breastfeeding and I wasn't eating. I was only getting the IV fluids. And so I was yellow for 5 months, and
Wow.
Robert would be like, "This is my Simpson wife."
I was gonna say,
so
your little
yellow.
minion, it wasn't back then, but
Yeah, it was bad.
poor thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're okay because I think it can be really serious.
It can be.
Yeah, and especially if you got to the point where you couldn't even walk, like,
I couldn't walk. They had to roll me.
yeah, that's scary.
And Hep for people, it just means affects your liver. Because I feel like sometimes if I tell someone I've had Hep A, they're like,
Well, and that's the thing. Literally, medical terminology. Itis is inflammation. Hep, like you said,
Is
is your liver. So it's just inflammation of your liver due to that bacteria or that. Is it a bacteria?
I don't know.
Virus?
No,
I
it's
don't
a
know.
virus.
And that's the thing. Anyone can get it. Like fast food, people
You
not
get it
washing
through
their- like,
food.
yeah,
Usually
and-
it comes from a restaurant. So a lot of so the health department, because I was in contact with them for almost a year, usually it is an outbreak at a restaurant. So the cook doesn't wash their hands, didn't wear gloves, and it goes into food, and then there's an outbreak. And usually it's contained to that meal or that set. So usually they said an outbreak is 5. But yeah,
You had that big
our trace
thing.
was 10.
Yeah, and you had that big thing, and like they have this baby, so obviously people are seeing the baby. So
Yeah. And
that's
you just
scary.
like the dormant phase is what makes it so scary, because once you have your first sign of symptoms, you're no longer contagious.
Yeah.
So you're contagious for like 2 months leading up to your first day of symptoms. And that's when you're giving it to people. And then once you have symptoms, you're no longer contagious. And so that's what's scary about it, is by the time you know you're sick, you've already given it to a whole bunch of people.
That is
If
scary.
you don't wash your hands.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I think there's a lot of things that are contagious before you even have a symptom. And so wash your hands.
Wash your
Well,
hands.
come on, people. Don't put-
Hopefully COVID made everybody better hand washers, sanitizers.
You'd be surprised. Some people
I
a
know.
little scary. I know we talked a while and there's just a lot to digest, and people want more information. There it is in my Substack, but
Yep.
I do think it takes an emotional toll on people to have illness of any kind, right? And we almost feel, I don't want to say invincible, but we're parents, we're here for our kids, we do all these things. When you can't, like when you had your surgery and you couldn't do all these things that you always do because you do so much, it's scary, but it's also like, oh my gosh, it's like your world kind of stops in a way. And same for me. I feel when I take a nap, I'm losing out on time with my kids. When I take a nap or I'm having a sick day, I'm losing out on that time at cheer or even work. My boss is like, just block your morning after your infusion, because I'm so exhausted and drained. Or even the day leading up till when I need my infusion, I feel really sick because my body needs it. And like, take the time, take care of yourself. I think in our day and age and our lives, we don't put enough on our health. And even the food we eat and the things we like, I need to get better at this for myself, but I'm so busy that I'm like, oh, let's just pick up fast food, or, my kids' favorite Taco Bell. I feel like it's just a thing that we do because it's convenient, but it's also probably not helping my health either. So,
well, I agree. Like, for our listeners, trust your body, listen to yourself, take your health. It's a blessing because some people don't have it, and ask for help. when I had my hysterectomy, my kids were little. My oldest was only 8. And at that time I had them full time and they only went to their dad's every other weekend. And so they were with me and I'm trying to recover from this really serious surgery. And I did too much.
Oh,
My
yeah.
healing was much longer and the doctor said, you're not taking it easy. And I'm like, how can I? Yeah, I have my 8 to 5, like 5, my daughter was 5, my son was 8, and I wouldn't take my pain meds because I was afraid if I felt zonked out, like, and my kids needed me, I wouldn't wake up. So I wasn't taking my pain meds. And I had called my dad and I'm like, the boys are with friends right now. Can you come get Bailey, take her to the park? I want to take my pain meds and I want to take a really good nap. And so I take my pain meds. My dad picks up my daughter. Do you know this story?
Yep.
Yep. And they're gone 20 minutes, 30 minutes, long enough for my meds to kick in. I'm like laying in bed all comfy cozy. And my dad's like, so we're on our way back to you. Bailey broke her arm. And I'm like, did she really? Because sometimes my parents, I'm like, did she really? And it was like,
Bent.
it was bent. And well, I just took 2
Yeah.
pain meds. I can't drive. So I had to call dad and say, so Bailey broke her arm. I am
And I'm on high on
unable,
pain
yeah,
meds.
I'm unable to take her to the hospital. But then they had to put her under and set it, all this stuff, and I wasn't there. And so then I regretted taking the pain meds. And
But pain is so bad.
yeah, I was in so much pain and I overdid it. But I shared this before one of our previous episodes, but ask for help. People
Mhm.
do want to be there for you. Like, I'll throw some extra stuff in the crock pot and bring you guys dinner on a day you don't feel good. People want to help and sometimes they don't know how, but I prided myself on doing it all on my own. Like, I'm super mom. I don't need anybody. And it's probably why I became an alcoholic.
That's a whole nother episode.
We'll get there too. But like, I never wanted to ask for help. I took it all and then secretly was drowning inside. And we've talked about like filling cups. Like, I poured from an empty cup. I wasn't taking care of me and was so broken inside and trying to do it all. And like you too, like, don't do it all. Ask for help. People want to be there for you. And like community, right? That's why we wanted to start this podcast, is building a village. People do want to be there for you. You're never a burden. Ask for help.
Yeah. And the right people will
show up for
understand
you.
and they'll show up because, to your point, I know if I'm like, hey, I can't do this thing we planned because you get it. Or if you need to have surgery, knock on wood, hopefully nothing,
not again.
never again. But anything. Or like, hey, can you pick up so-and-so because I'm doing this thing with my son? Totally. I feel like your people will be there for you because, and you're there for them. I feel like it goes both ways. So,
well, and with my surgery, when I had my appendix out, people I wouldn't even have thought of showed up for me and my kids. Well, you and another coach brought meals, right? And she actually brought a meal the day of my colonoscopy too, like had pizza.
You're like, I'm good.
Yeah, but it was sweet. The kids were super excited to get pizza. But, you know, maybe my cheer sisters, maybe that's a little bit more expected, but maybe not.
Yeah.
But mine and her were taking voice lessons. Like, she brought us dinner. And then there was like a friend of a friend who I'd met like 2 times. She brought us dinner. And
it's surprising.
It
like
people here and they're like, oh, let me bring a meal. Let me have pizza delivered. Let me, you know, I remember do this, people, when I had my first son and I'm a new mom and I'm tired and I don't know how to juggle all the things, right? My cousin came over, my cousin Christina, who is just one of my favorite people anyways, but she came over and scrubbed my bathroom. And I know that sounds so silly, but like, I hadn't thought to clean my bathroom or like wash my mirror. And we only had a 1-bathroom house at the time, but she came over and vacuumed and scrubbed. I was like, that is, when you go and scrub someone's toilet, that is love.
You love them.
And I remember being so grateful.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I remember being so grateful vacuuming and cleaning my bathroom, you know, like it cost $0 and it was just showing up.
Well, and going back to, we've talked about love language a little bit between us, and like acts of service are huge, huge, huge. And so, yeah, just show up, but also communicate, because I feel like sometimes I'm bad at this. Sometimes I don't share when things are going on until they're really bad. Like,
yeah, I don't think you do. I was asking you recently.
You're like, do you want to vent? Do you need to talk?
Yeah, because I've been leaning on you so much about some things, and I'm like, what's going on with you? Like,
How's
hey,
it going?
girl, what's that? Tell me the thing.
I'm like, I think something's broken with me because I'm okay. Like,
yeah.
And I get overwhelmed sometimes, but it passes. I'm kind of in this phase of life now where when your health is so bad, are things really that bad?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm this sick, it's okay.
Are you telling me to suck it up, Buttercup? No, I'm just kidding.
Sometimes, no. But no, I do think it puts things in perspective for sure, you know? But I have found things that work, like pacing and taking naps and doing all these things. But some things just don't help at all, and I know that. But um, I think that's
That's
health and a lot of info about that.
Mm-hmm.
But the last few minutes of this episode, what are you reading right now? Are you reading?
I actually whizzed through a book because I went between reading it and listening to it on Audible, and because we're getting ready to go on vacation, I scrubbed my house, vacuumed, and like, oh my gosh, carpet cleaning. Yeah, just getting ready. So I read this book called The Call of the Wrens, and I can't remember what it stands for. Women. Yeah.
Oh, so it's an acronym.
Yeah.
It's not like birds.
It's not birds.
Okay.
But it's about these actual women that rode motorcycles and delivered telegrams and were kind of in between during World War I, and then they were called back for World War II. And I was kind of getting bored with the book, and then there was this huge, like, I didn't see that coming thing. So I gave it 3 stars on my
Okay.
whatever. But I mean, it was a good read. I whizzed right through it. And so then I have now started The Forest of Vanishing Stars by Kristen Harmel. And I've
I thought you were going to say Kristen Hanna.
no, but I just read another one by her.
I know.
But Kristen Harmel, and I've read other books by her, and I've always enjoyed it. And this book on Goodreads has 4.5 stars. So
That's pretty high.
4.25. So yeah, so far I think I'm on chapter 6. I really enjoy it. So yeah.
I always feel like your books are so good, like and people can relate to it no matter what they like to read. I'm like, oh my gosh,
I don't think so. I read so many World War II books, and that's not for everybody.
But they're not like out there like mine. I just read a trilogy. So I talked about Kiss of Iron, A Touch of Poison in the last episode, but I read the third one, A Promise of Lies, and it was a really good series. Just like, oh my gosh, didn't see that coming, especially in the last book. So if you're into fantasy, romantasy kind of stuff, there's spice in it. It's a good series by Claire Sager. I'm actually struggling to find what my next read should be. I have a huge list, so it's almost like, what world do I want to start into? When you have
and
to
a lot of yours are trilogies and stuff, right?
There's series, and so I'm just trying to decide what to read. So
I just got a book rec, and we've talked about doing a book club.
Yeah, I want to do a book club for sure.
This one, a friend of mine read it. She gave it 5 stars. She said that she absolutely whizzed right through it. She said it was so great, but it's called The Calamity Club by Catherine Stockett. But the reviews are like phenomenal. And so it actually has a 4.59 rating.
Wow.
So I really want to read that one. That might be one of my next ones. Maybe we'll save it for book club. I don't know. But yeah, it looks really good. So.
Okay, well, maybe we'll have to do that as a book. Oh my gosh. So I just literally got a text from my friend, Nashika, and she said, it made me think of your podcast. Because remember, we talked about the things that we feared as kids and quicksand. So it's actually, I should maybe make this the cover of the episode, but it says, caution, go shrimp at work. Burrows may cause dangerous sinking sand and mud exposed at low tides. And the sign is really hilarious because it's like a little person drowning in the quicksand.
That's so
Put
funny.
your face on it.
Where is that taken?
I don't know.
That's
So
so
I'll
funny.
have to get more info, but that is hilarious. So thank you for sending that in at just the right time. And she said it was a cute, scary icon on the sign. So I
Yeah,
agree.
maybe it can be our cover. For
That's hilarious. Thank you.
Side quest of the week.
Side quest of the week. Do you have one?
Do you?
Oh, no. I need to think about it.
No, I mean, mine, I guess, is cleaning the house.
Oh, getting ready.
Getting ready for vacation. Kids and I are driving to Texas, and it's
gonna be
long. Fun. Yeah. So I think, just getting ready for vacation. I did just fix something. What did I fix recently?
I know you talked about in our last episode that you
I fixed the dryer, and then I was trying to fix the vacuum, but I didn't. I couldn't fix it, so I threw it away and got a new vacuum. But no, I was fixing something else this week. But I was asking you, like, I have like a little hitch thing that goes on the back of my car, and so I used it when we went to Utah for Thanksgiving, but somebody helped me. My mother-in-law's nephew-in-law. I don't know. Like
Somebody.
family. Yeah. Family adjacent. He showed me how to put it on properly and whatever. And so because I'm driving so far and it needs to be able to bear weight, I was like, maybe I should have some guy come and look at this. But I put it on today and jumped on it. I was like, I got
It's
this.
good.
It's good.
I knew you had it.
I
I was
know.
like, you could literally just upload the picture of it and be like, is this right? Then AI would be like, yeah, you got it.
Well, it's funny. My mother-in-law came to drop something off today and I was finishing putting it on. I was like, let me just tighten these screws really quick. And like,
Is this when we were talking?
yeah.
And you're
I
like,
was
my mother-in-law. So you were talking and putting it on your car?
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like,
under my
hey,
car,
girl,
like,
I'm just working.
But I like, yeah, I was telling her, remember when I first got divorced? Because my ex-husband was Mr. Fix-It.
Yeah.
He can freaking fix anything. He built an aircraft. Look him up. It's called an RV-8A. Like, he built an aircraft. He was Mr. Fix-It. He could freaking do and
So you
build
didn't
and
need to.
fix anything. I never had to do anything. I did work on the plane with him. I built the wingtips. Thank you very much. And I would help him rivet. But I never fixed anything. And so post-divorce, I've really had
You're
to
Mrs.
like
Fix-It now.
figure it the frick out because it's expensive to hire someone every gosh dang time.
Well, and you're just building your skill set. You
Yeah.
know? Like if it pops up again, you're like, I got this.
I got this. Yeah, a friend can call me and be like,
That's
yeah.
so hilarious because I can just imagine you under the car
I
talking
know.
to me and your mother-in-law. Like, you know, I didn't even know you weren't even winded or it didn't even hear anything.
Because I was under the cars and I had you on my earpod.
Okay, that's fine.
And my
But
phone was just next to me.
That's hilarious. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I didn't even know that. My side quest, it kind of teased off of the last side quest, I think, where
You got baptized. No, what was the last one?
oh no, that was the last one. I'm getting my
No, because
we swapped them.
Yeah.
So it was getting a new job, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
so this is my last few days
Aw.
of working and just had my exit interview and I got my QR code to send my equipment back. You know,
Aw.
it's real. And all my coworkers are like, it's not real. You're just going on a long vacation. And
Yeah.
I'm going to really miss them. But, you know, I don't know what to expect, but I did find out that I lose insurance. So I'll have a month of no insurance, which
Just so scary.
ties into this health episode because my stuff is, I think my infusions are like 20,000 a week
Gosh, it's so
or
crazy.
something. And so like I've met my deductible. I have to start all over, get prior authorization for my infusions. Like it's just a nightmare. And I actually just got 5 referrals to specialists because I think I'm having a connective tissue
Mm-hmm.
issue now with my knees and my hips and all the things. So like an ortho referral and ENT to get a biopsy to test for Sjogren's. They have to biopsy my glands in my lip or something. All these things. And I'm like, well, I guess it's going to have to wait until August because
Darn.
I'll have no insurance. So it's scary
It is scary.
how
That's-
insurance
no.
is tied to jobs. Like it should not be that way. That's a whole nother episode. But having health issues, even not having health issues, like the fear of something happening
Mhm.
and not having insurance is really scary. So that's my side quest. It's rolling off my job. So
Do you have rapid fire?
oh, yep. And this is a little bit longer of an episode, so we'll
That's
be
okay.
quick on rapid fire. Okay. Hopefully,
You guys are okay, right? You want to just hear us talk?
yeah, we'll just talk forever and you'll love it.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is our health edition. Okay. And we'll just both answer. So we'll ask a question and then we'll both answer and go to the next one. So coffee or nap?
Coffee.
Nap for me. Heating pad or ice pack?
Heating pad.
Yeah.
So back to Evelyn, I already mentioned her in this episode, met her in 5th grade. She was the queen of homemade gifts and she made me these rice packs that you throw in the microwave.
still
I
have
do them
them?
for 4 minutes. Well, I had both. So she made one for me, one for Robert. I got them both in the divorce. I don't know. Like just, they were at the
I got
house.
the packs.
And I had them both and I would use them all the time. And my son one day, my 15-year-old doesn't realize how big he is because he's big. He's a big boy. And, like tall, muscular, broad shoulders. And he grabbed it and he whacked it on the back of the couch and it just sputtered rice everywhere. So one's gone. It has been buried and gone. But the other one, I used it last night because I've been having those, what did you call them?
They're like zingers in
Yeah.
the neck.
I think I need to go to the chiropractor before we leave if I can squeeze that in tomorrow because, yeah, I did something to my neck. And so, yeah, heating pack. Heating pad.
Yeah. I would say with the pain too. Sometimes an ice pack is needed, but heating pad is like.
But I do love a cold plunge. So I used to do cold plunges all the time, which do help all your everything. Feels so great.
It just resets. And like
Yeah.
our little kiddie pool in our community is super cold. And I'm like, this is kind of like we don't get cold water here.
No,
So
we don't. Not even in the shower or the bath, like if
no,
you
it's
want to.
yeah, it's
'Cause
not like Washington where you can like drink from the sink.
Oh my gosh,
It's warm. I miss the water.
Well, our water here is also super metallic and gross and not safe, but I miss water from my
Fresh
sink
stream
in
water.
Washington. And it's really good for you listeners if you live in a state where you can do this, but the last minute of your shower, turn your water to cold and rinse your
Yes.
whole body in cold water. And I used to do that in Washington. I
We don't
can't do it
here.
here. It's easily a crisp 75 degrees at my
Yeah.
lowest temp.
Yeah, it's gross.
And our water tanks are outside. Mine is. Is yours?
Mine's inside.
Mine's outside. It's outside on the back, like right when you walk on the
Are you
side fence where
kidding?
we paint. Nope, they're outside on all those new builds on that side.
That's so dumb because
Mhm.
it's hot outside.
Yeah. I mean, it's hot in the garage too, but
Not
yeah, our
not
water
direct
our
sunlight.
water tanks are boxes and they're outside.
Oh, mine's just like a regular old one in the garage, but it
No.
takes forever for my water to get hot, but it's always warm.
Yeah.
Favorite comfort food.
Thai, which
Oh,
we
I
don't
miss
have
Thai
here.
food.
I love Thai food. And the office that I worked at in Lacey, we had the best Thai I've ever had, like right across the street. So
Every
Thai
time
food
we
or
go
pho.
anywhere, I'm like, I
Thai.
need to get Thai food.
Yeah.
Like that is my favorite thing. So
Oh,
I
and
agree.
so I know we're on a long episode, but when we were in Vegas, we went out to Thai and we had leftovers. And so we were taking the leftovers they were in our carry-on because we only had carry-ons. It was such a quick trip. But remember both of our bags got sideswiped to get gone through by TSA because it looked like
Liquid.
soup. It was liquid. And she's like, oh, it's not soup. It's okay. And I was like, I will eat it right here. Like,
You are
you are
not
not
taking
taking
it.
my leftover Thai. But
was
she
so
let
good.
us through. Yeah. She's like, it's not soup. She's like, we have had to throw soup away. So don't carry on soup. But it was like
Yeah.
just a little bit of liquid. So
'cause
it was mostly
curry.
rice. Yeah.
But it was mostly rice and chicken or whatever. And so yours got stopped and I was like, oh, dang
yeah. I was like,
it.
it's my leftovers. So yours is going to get stopped. And she goes, it smells good. I'm like, it's so good.
Yeah,
like,
please don't take it.
I will slurp it with my fingers if you try and take it away from me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Yeah, mine's the same. Morning person or night owl?
At the moment, neither.
You just a
I'm
sleepy girl?
so like, I just want to sleep 10 hours every night. Usually I'm a morning person. Like when we would travel together, I'd be up early eating my rotten eggs. Like, using the shower early and stuff. But like, I'm definitely not a night owl. But right now I'm neither. Like I struggle to wake up. I want to sleep.
Well, I've always been a night person, never a morning person. I like, ugh. But also, it's so hard for me to wake up. Once I get to sleep, I can't wake up. It's so hard. But I also, because now I nap,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm not tired when I should be. So I'm a night owl. Biggest medical fear.
Cancer.
I'm like, I can deal with this all day long. I know what to expect now. But my biggest thing right now is not being able to walk or being so impacted neurologically that I can't even like get to where I need to go or do the things I need to do.
Well, and I think I'm very granola. Like I would always try the natural way. And so I've watched all these things too, documentaries and stuff on natural ways to cure cancer. And so I've had that in my head. Like if I ever got cancer, would I do chemo and what the doctors tell me to do? Or would I do, and I'm not recommending, this is for myself, but like, I don't know if I would make myself sicker and go through that, or if I would
Because it's literally poison.
It's poison.
Yeah. But it's also like everyone's own choice, right?
Yeah.
I've known people that have gone through it and been cured, but there are lasting impacts, and so that it is scary.
Yeah. Yours the same? Yeah.
Yeah, and like the mobility and stuff, it's already kind of impact. So that's my fear. But also going blind.
Yeah,
because like your eyes, because I also got viral pink eye from my daughter, from her kind of stepsister. And hers was just a normal pink eye. Did the drops, went away. Mine lasted for 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
And I got corneal scarring.
Oh my gosh.
It turned viral. And I was so distraught and in pain and couldn't see. And then when the light shines on my eyes, I have spots from the scar. So it's terrible. So eyes and mobility.
Yeah.
Most underrated self-care item. I don't know if you've heard of gua sha.
Mm-mm.
So it's a Chinese natural medicine thing where you have this tool and you use it against your muscles to like, I think it kind of breaks up the fascia or something like that, but people do it on their face too, like the rollers, but they're
Oh
like,
yeah,
they're
Bailey
kind of
has
like,
some.
yeah, but some of them have a handle that you hold, but you just rub it and it breaks apart knots and does things like that.
Mm.
But oh my gosh, when I'm like really, really struggling and my husband will hit my neck or hit my back with that, it's amazing. So I don't know, you know.
I mean, I think cold plunging is so good for you and releases all these things. But like, I don't know.
Do you not have one?
I don't have one.
Yeah,
I
okay. No, but cold plunging, that could be
cold
your answer.
plunging.
Like,
Yeah.
do the cold plunge. And then maybe favorite healthy snack.
Favorite healthy snack. Do you have one?
I don't know why, but because I went to Costco with you recently, the seaweed things
Oh
popped
yeah.
in my brain because your kids eat those.
Eat them like crazy.
Uh,
Oh, I do have one that I love, and actually my middle kiddo, who it's really hard to get healthy stuff into, really likes them too. But you take a lightly salted rice cracker and you put a thin layer of peanut butter, and then you dice up banana on top and a couple chocolate chips, and that's really good. And then I don't know if anyone's heard of, but you can make healthy Snickers, but you take a pitted date and you put
oh,
peanut butter inside with
you were
chocolate.
telling me
Like
about that.
those are really good too. So those are probably my two favorite.
Mine's fixed frozen grapes.
Oh, Bailey loves. My daughter loves those.
Yeah, I'll buy grapes. Half of them, so I'll wash them and put them in the fridge, but half I'll freeze. And it's like a popsicle, you know, but they're so good to snack on and they're cold and they're refreshing. So, and I think,
Is that it?
yeah, I think that's it.
We did
'Cause
it.
we did it. I know we asked recently, so we have episode out for the 4th of July. By the time you hear this, it will already be out and you guys will hear it hopefully. But we did ask recently, you know, what our friends should be called. So definitely if we don't have a name by the time you hear this episode, we'd love to get your feedback. Our options are Questies, Sidekick, and Pickle Pals, unless you have something else, but I think it might be Pickle Pals. So anything else?
Follow us on Instagram. We got this right. Email us your side quests of the week. We'd really love to hear from you, or anything. If you've done any of our homework, you reached out to someone or wrote a letter or any of the little homeworks that we give you, email us. We'd love to hear from you on that. Our email is wegotThisright2026@gmail.com. Please like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. It really does help out the podcast with being seen. And we have some new merch out. There's some really cute. We're still working on the
Yes.
store, but there are some like cute mugs and sweatshirts. And when our Instagram gets to 100 followers, we're probably going to do some kind of merch giveaway too. But yeah, just follow us on all the things. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, we got this.
We got this, right?
Right.
Bye.
Bye.